Hey guys, if you clicked on this video, there's a really good chance you're currently dealing with one of the most frustrating PC problems I've ever personally dealt with. Your games are crashing instantly, black screening, refusing to launch, throwing Unreal Engine errors, or giving you AMD runtime crashes. And you're starting to think your graphics card is dying. That was me. I spent hours troubleshooting this issue on my RX 9070 XT, and I'm making this video for two reasons. The first of which is I just want to explain what's actually happening here because I think a lot of people are misunderstanding this issue. And second, I want to help anybody else avoid turning their PC into a complete science experiment like I did last night. Now, if you just want the fix and do not care about the explanation, skip ahead to the how to fix it section. But honestly, I recommend watching the whole video because understanding why this is happening can save you a lot of panic and wasted troubleshooting and also teaches you what to look for that gives away what's happening if this ever arises in the future. So, for context, here is my setup. I am using an AMD RX 9070 XT with a Ryzen 7 7800 X3D. I'm using an Asus TUF B650E Wi-Fi motherboard, and I have DDR5 RAM operating at 6000 megahertz, about 32 gigs, and I am using Windows 11 operating system. The games giving me issues were Marvel Rivals and Subnautica 2, and the really confusing part was that other games worked perfectly. I was literally playing the brand new Lego Batman game with no issues. So this did not immediately feel like hardware failure. To talk about what's actually happening, the symptoms I had were black screen crashes, instant game closes, Unreal Engine fatal errors, DX12 launch failures, games only working on certain driver versions. That's a big one a lot of the community is talking about right now, and repeated crash logs mentioning AMFR TDRV64. That last part is important because that crash log is tied to AMD's runtime driver software, not necessarily the physical GPU hardware itself. And after hours of troubleshooting, I realized something huge. My GPU itself was actually behaving normally. My temps were good, my power draw was normal, my GPU hit 100% utilization correctly, but I had no artifacting, I had no random reboots, and there was no crashing across every game that I opened up. Instead, the crashes were happening specifically in certain DX12 and Unreal Engine games. So, why is this happening? From everything I tested and from what other people online are reporting, this appears to be related to AMD Adrenalin software. There's runtime conflicts, the overlays and frame generation features, or even newer AMD driver branches are interacting badly with certain DX12 and Unreal Engine games. And this is where the things that I were seeing got really interesting. Subnautica 2 actually gave me a warning message directly from the dev team, I believe, saying on AMD 9000 series and 26.5.x drivers, AMD recommends rolling back to 26.3.1. That was the moment I realized, okay, this is not just my PC. Then I started finding Reddit threads, Steam discussions, AMD help posts, and other RX 9000 users reporting these same problems, especially with the Unreal Engine crashes, DX12 launch failures, and AMD runtime errors. So this stopped looking like my GPU is defective and started looking much more like AMD's software stack is conflicting with certain modern games. Now, this is everything I tried. I used the software known as DDU to completely uninstall and reinstall the 26.3.1 drivers that were recommended by the dev team. I updated chipset drivers. I repaired Windows using SFC and DISM. I disabled Expo. I checked BIOS settings, reinstalled games, deleted shader caches. I even disabled game bar and overlays. I even went as far as to check Event Viewer and checked Reliability Monitor and basically spent hours trying to figure out just if my hardware was dying. And honestly, most of those things either did nothing or only temporarily changed the symptom. Here is how to fix it. Okay. This is the actual fix that finally worked for me, and this is important. I did not replace hardware. I did not reinstall Windows. I did not RMA my GPU. Instead, I went to installed apps, typed in AMD at the top, and uninstalled this bad boy right here, the AMD Software Adrenaline Edition. Just the AMD software package. That means overlays, AFMF, HyperRX, the metrics and recording features, all as well as the tuning software and all the extra AMD gaming software. After uninstalling it, Windows inherently keeps a basic display driver active normally, and immediately after that, Marvel Rivals launched. Then Subnautica 2 launched on the very first try. There was no black screen, there was no Unreal Engine crash, no AMD runtime error. So, if you're dealing with RX 9000 series cards and DX12 crashes, or maybe even Unreal Engine crashes, try removing AMD Adrenalin software first before you start panicking about hardware failure. Now, I do want to clarify something. This does not mean AMD GPUs are automatically bad. I actually really like AMD. Despite what we get with an NVIDIA graphics card, where they seem to update these issues much more frequently than AMD does, not every crash is actually caused by adrenaline. But if your GPU survives stress tests and temperatures are normal and other games work and only certain DX12 Unreal games fail, there's a very good chance you're dealing with a software runtime issue rather than dying hardware. And just to conclude everything, I genuinely think a lot of people are going to mistake this issue for hardware failure. The symptoms they do look terrifying, but in my case, the actual problem was AMD's software layer, not the GPU itself. So hopefully this video helps somebody save time, avoid unnecessary RMAs, and avoid losing their sanity. And if this video did help you, please leave a comment with what GPU you're using, your AMD driver version, and what game was crashing because I'm really curious to see how widespread this problem actually is. And with that, good luck. And to the AMD dev team, please, for the love of God, stop trying to give your users heart attacks.